Good morning, sports fans. This is Jim Lockett, this is Harrison Park, this is Blues News, and this is a new feature that I've introduced to try and keep you up to speed and up to date with all the regular news and ongoings at Harrison Park. There's always something going on. There's something going on the pitch at the moment. There's a gentleman I've never met before. He wondered who I am. I wondered who he is. But that doesn't matter. This is Blues News. Let's start with a 1-0 victory over Sheffield on Saturday down here at Harrison Park. Darren Chadwick popping up with the only goal of the game midway through the second half. Scrappy finish. New signing, Aaron Daniels. He tried to claim the goal. I've watched it back. Sorry, mate. Great to have you on board. And you look a big unit, a tricky player. It wasn't your goal. Definitely Chadders got the final touch. 240 spectators down at Harrison Park for our first game in a couple of weeks on Saturday. That's been due to fixture postponements. The weather's been abysmal. Do you know what that means? It means 3 games in a week coming up in April. Kazza won't like that. Neither do I, to be honest, because that makes life very difficult for the Blues. Probably why he's brought in these 2 new players. Let's see what I can tell you about them. Aaron Daniels, signed from Barwell. Barwell are a Premier League team based in Hinckley in Leicestershire. He's an attacking midfielder who's played 12 times for Barwell, scoring just the once. I don't know anything else about him, but he comes to bolster the squad. And he comes with another young gentleman called Lee Attenborough. What do we know about him? He's signed from Loughborough Dynamo, and that's all I can tell you. Pretty pathetic really that, isn't it, when you consider I was doing a lot of research last night. But anyway, they're the 2 new signings on board, and that's news in itself. Warren Holmes he played on Saturday at centre half. Now Warren's had to be extremely patient waiting for his chance, because James Curley and Darren Chadwick, as the mower starts up, bad timing, have kept that centre half position. They've made it their own, but Warren took his chance on Saturday and he played extremely well. And incidentally, and I will admit that I was at the Britannia Stadium on Saturday, I met his mum, Claire Holmes. She recognised me from Blues News. Claire, pleased to meet you. Lovely lady, lovely lady. We spoke about Warren and his opportunities to get in the team. Say no more. Anyway, where's me crib sheet? These 2 players, Lee Attenborough and Aaron Daniels, have signed on non-contract terms until the 7th of May 2016. Obviously that keeps them involved to the end of the season, which will be very important with the fixtures coming up, because there is a lot of fixtures. The other news on Saturday, and I must mention it, in fact it will be remiss of me not to mention it, Ant Danlick, 400 appearances for Leek Town. He made game number 400 on Saturday. What an achievement. He has my ultimate respect. A little bit of history about Ant Danlick. He joins the 400 Club. I've nicked this information off Steve Reynolds off his website, so I must give him the credit. But Dave Sutton, he's played 475 times. Gary Pearce, he's played 447 times. And Chris McMullen has played 405 times. He is clearly in fantastic company. Ant Danlick, respect, my friend. Well done. You have to respect someone who's played 400 times at this standard of semi-professional football. It's a good standard. Come down and watch and you'll see what I mean. Ant signed originally in 2002 by Paul Ogden. Oggy, what a character. And he was 19 then, and he was signed from Stone Dominoes. He went on to play 100 times for Leek before going to Belper in 2004-2005. He played 114 games. Hang on. No, he returned to Leek actually to clock up 114 games. And in 2008 and 2009, he stepped up to play for Altrincham. And I believe they're in the conference, definitely a higher level than this, where he played 151 times. Kazza, well done lad. 2011 brought him back to Leek Town, and since that time he's been voted the Players' Player of the Year 3 times. When you've got the respect of your peers, that suggests to me you are a handy footballer. He's also been voted Manager's Player of the Year in 2007-2008. He's now 33 years old and he's been appointed the assistant manager this season after Matthew Beebe stood aside. He clearly is the man. Ant Danlick, unbelievable techers. You make Blues news this week. Anyway, the 1-0 victory on Saturday puts us into 7th position, 2 places shy of the playoffs. We're just 1 point from 5th, and that's a playoff place, incidentally. Lincoln occupy 5th, having played a game more, and Chasetown are on 6th, on the same number of points as us, having played 3 games more, and we travel to Chasetown on Saturday. What do we know about them? Well, a little bit, because that's what Blues News is about, bringing you the information, getting you up to speed. Chasetown, for a start, it's quite close to Leek. South Staffordshire, 47 miles away. That's 1 hour and 3 minutes by car, according to Google Maps. It's in Burntwood. Now, I played in Burntwood once for Borley Green Reserves. I actually scored. Yes, I got goals. Bit like Tim Grice. Maybe not quite as prolific and at a lower level. But I found them to be quite a rum bunch over there, and I don't mean that with disrespect. Anyway, that's where Chasetown is. The admission prices on Saturday, should you wish to go along, it's £8 for adults, £5 for 16 to 18 year olds, £4 for 12 to 16 year olds, and £2 for under 12s. What a pricing structure! And they play at the Scholars Ground, which has a capacity of 3,100, and it has 500 seats. Smart. I've never been. I'll be honest, I've never been. They've recently been on, as the mower starts up again, they've recently been on a 4-game winning run, losing 2-1 at home to Shore Lane on Saturday. Their goal was scored by Paul Sullivan. Never heard of him. Player watch. Chasetown player watch. Their danger man, Franchino Francis. Pierce Kiembe is a winger. And they also have a Spanish-born striker called Marco Adagio. Do I love the names? This Adagio fella has recently been signed from Hinckley, and he's scored 24 goals in 33 games. That makes him a danger man in my book. The manager of Chasetown is called Dave Stringer, not the old fella that used to play for Norwich, a different Dave Stringer. And he joined Chasetown in June 2015, previously managing Rugby Town, finishing runners-up twice. The assistant manager is called Cameron Stewart, and guess what he said recently? He said that every game is a cup final. It's like boring James Milner off Twitter. That's poor, that is, Cameron. Come on, you've got to come back, do better than the cliches. Put yourself out there, you're going to get knocked. They play in all blue, incidentally. An interesting fact about Chasetown, one that I'm going to enjoy sharing with you. In 2008, they made the second round of the FA Cup. You know where this is going. And they drew those plucky buggers from the north of the city, Port Vale. The mighty Vale at Vale Park held on to a 1-1 draw, taking Chasetown to a replay back at the Scholars Ground, where they lost 1-0. 1-0. Well done, Chasetown. We must give credit to them for that. And they lost in the round 3-1 to Cardiff City in front of their highest ever attendance of 2,420. Well done, Chasetown. And the only other thing to mention is last Thursday was the Sportsman's Evening down here, where Jeff Winter, former Premier League referee, was the guest speaker. And we had a packed clubhouse over there. Can you see the clubhouse in the background? I don't think you can. But it was packed. Good night, Sam. Next time they do a Sportsman's Evening, get in contact. If you weren't here, you missed a good one. And finally, the only other bit of news that would be remiss of me not to mention, the Wellington Veterans, the most famous veteran football team in league, played on Sunday away at Caverswall, winning 3-0. And guess who was on the score sheet? Get in! 30 yards out, beat me man, bang, top corner. What a finish. Okay, I tell a lie. It was a 2-yard tap-in, but they all count. Jimmy Lockett on the score sheet for the Vets. Thought I'd mention that one. That's it. That's Blues News. Hope I've got you up to date. Hope I haven't missed anything. Jimmy Lockett, Harrison Park. Thanks very much.